Welcome to Greek for a Week. I'm glad that you are watching another video as we continue to march through the book of First Peter. And you'll notice here from the beginning slide that we're looking at a diagram of chapter 3, verses 8 through 12, again, which the past couple of weeks we have labeled as living in harmony, specifically with the aspects of unity and love. So as we go to the next slide here, we'll notice the text. And again, I'll be bringing out several imperatives. There are some participial imperatives there. There's also here in chapter 3, verse 8, there's also some predicate adjectives that kind of function as imperatives. And then, of course, we'll see some of the comments that Peter will make in relationship to this living a good life up here in verse 10. And then, of course, how that relates to the Lord and his eyes and his character in relationship to those who do good. So we'll see how all of that fits together. So if we continue here, Peter, after the section on wives and husbands, he brings in another passage basically to say, okay, let's kind of leave the home, if you will, and mention all of the recipients. So now finally all of you, or all of the recipients, these are my expectations. He says, be like-minded, or have a harmonious attitude with one another. Be sympathetic or understanding. And then, of course, there's brotherly love, compassionate, as well as humble. So these I've labeled here are the characteristics that one is to have. Again, should the unity and the love be representative of one or of those who are living in harmony. Then he moves on to verse 9. So if I'm to have these characteristics here, again, these predicate adjectives, if I'm to have these, then I should not be paying back evil for evil or insult for insult. Rather, the contrary, I should be giving a blessing instead. Of course, why? He suggests here that this is what you've been called to do. The purpose then of that calling is so that you may inherit a blessing. So Peter really helps the readers understand what it means to not only have these characteristics here, therefore demonstrating a life that's in harmony with one another, but simply this is who you are. So we really could go all the way back to chapter 1 and the fact that God's merciful character has come on you so that now you are a believer, you're saved. Then really 10 through the rest of the passage here, verse 12, we're going to see how Peter uses the one who desires life. Okay, the one who desires life. Well, what's the situation? To love and to see. One really who desires this life, these happy days, if you will. He will love and see good days. What is it that he must do? Well, he must keep his tongue from evil and his lips to not speak that which is evil. Okay, but what must he do then? So you could say, here's kind of the negative here. He must not speak evil. He must not his tongue must not be evilly directed, if you will. But what must he do is he must stay away from evil and then really must do good. He must seek peace and pursue it. Why? Well, because the eyes of the Lord are on the righteous and his ears to their prayers. But, so here's a further development in the discussion, his face is against those who do evil. So even within this paragraph, Peter basically finds a progression of the characteristics and then the imperatives of those characteristics, again, to bring about a unity and the love, which also then provides for us a life that is in harmony with one another. So have the characteristics of unity and love. That's verse 8. Again, do not pay back evil for evil. Instead, what should we do? We should give a blessing. That's verse 9. Why? Well, we've been called to do this. Then he says the one who desires life, or the one, if you want to say it this way, desires happy days. Here's verses 10 through 12. I must keep from speaking evil. I must stay away from evil and then do good in response. I must seek peace and pursue it. Again, why? Because the Lord offers divine favor and retribution. Again, so you have two reasons here, and then multiple encouraging exhortations, motivations from Peter, again, to live in harmony with one another. Trust this has been helpful. That was verses 8 through 12. Again, we'll start a pretty incredible passage coming up in 13 through 17. We'll start that next week. Have a great week.